Hey, this is Marco Kozlowski. I'm super excited to see you coming up in Atlanta. This is my excited face. I'm excited to share with you the insider secrets on how extremely wealthy individuals that know exactly what to do during these very exciting economic times. Yes, we're in a recession. Yes, interest rates are rising. Yes, the real estate market is slowing down. But I've seen this movie before. I've been doing this well before the crash, and I know exactly how to capitalize on it ethically, morally, and how to make out like a bandit by really helping and serving as many people as possible. I'm excited to show you exactly how to help people and make out like a bandit at the same time, but a legal bandit and a lot of money. I'm going to show you how my followers and myself acquire hotels, mobile home parks, assisted living facilities, apartment buildings, all sorts of cash flowing assets at pennies on the dollar, about 30% off plus, and acquire them without using any of our own money ever. In fact, it's forbidden. Using skills, not money. If you know where to find these great opportunities and where to find money that doesn't require your credit, you put those two together and voila, you get cash flow. We just make the spread between what the money cost and what the cash flow comes in. Pretty darn simple. And I would love to show you how, if you're willing to suffer through a presentation that's going to be about an hour long, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours if you ask a lot of questions, but I know you're absolutely going to enjoy it. I've also included a quick snapshot of someone that started following me not too long ago, just closed their first asset, $250,000 a year passive income, completely net, with a $400,000 upside, $400,000 net upside. That's $650,000 of passive income a year on one deal. Now, once again, it was forbidden for him to use any money. He didn't use any of his credit. And of course, he used skills instead of money in order to do so. And I would love to show you exactly how he did. And if you're willing to work, so can you. But it does take skill. Now, if you're lazy, don't follow direction, and just don't want to learn anything new, this is not going to be for you. But if you want to stop using your own money to buy cash flowing assets, using asset-based lenders, which I'll go into, I know you're absolutely going to be thrilled that you came to this presentation. You're absolutely going to love it. So show up early, because once I get started, after around 20 minutes, we lock the doors. No one's allowed to get in. You got to be early, because once I start, it's extremely interactive. It's extremely fun. And if you like having fun, like making a lot of money, come on over. If you put the FU in fun, stay home. Can't wait to see you very soon. I know you're going to love it, and your wallet will as well.
Hey, Marco, right? Is that any better?
Oh my gosh, you're not even the same person. Mm-hmm. So,
all right.
Look how happy you are.
Yeah, look at his face, man.
I feel like I need to croon or something, but
please don't. So, Brett closed his first hotel when did you close?
About a month ago.
About a month ago. Gotcha. Let's just take us on a journey real quick. Snapshot.
So, just started the process. I met Marco in October. Started the process of learning in November. Started marketing in December of last year, and just took this hotel down the process that we all learn, and basically got it under contract. Got it under contract for 1.78. It had a gross revenue of right about 700,000. And what we thought was a net operating income of 266,000. And that part's really important because it's what they reported to us. It was in their preliminary P&L at 266. And so signed the contract, standard contract, no real changes or anything, and which gave us time. And I've learned how important that is through some suffering on some other deals. And what we learned through the process was that the actual net was 246. So there was $20,000, a $20,000 reduction in net when we went through the numbers. We knew that and went to go out to the property, knowing that we didn't.
Sorry to interrupt you. So that actually crushes the deal on a numbers perspective, because that's a $200,000 difference in value at a 10 cap, or $250,000 at an 8 cap. Right. So it turns from a doable deal to a deal that can't be done. And when we went there, you're like, why are we even here? Because these numbers aren't working, right? Remember what I told you?
Hold on.
Yeah.
With the driving.
Stop driving so fast. Can I lick your Cheeto fingers, please? That's definitely not what you said, because I think you were almost throwing up when I was eating my Cheetos with the orange fingers that I had. Anyway, let's not make it weird.
So, something very important happened when we were there, other than the obvious of seeing the property and seeing a couple little bumps and bruises, but nothing major. But we got to connect with an agent who has, it's one of those agents with that personality of wanting to connect, right? And so an ability to recognize that and create that connection really paid off, because ultimately what happened was we went and created a new impasse, and that new impasse was around this reduced NOI, and made a lower cash offer based on the NOI and based on the pool situation and that sort of thing.
So you just added another element that people don't know about. So there's a pool that was not. So this is what's the population of Storm?
It's small.
Right?
I don't know what it is.
50,000.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It is about 50,000. Yes,
50,000 ish. It's across the street from a very large Walmart, a super center. It's well positioned. It's not well managed. There's a lot of upside on this opportunity, which is one of the reasons I really liked it. If we just get to what the comps are doing, that extra dollar amount adds up to, I think, almost 300,000.
No, it's over 400.
Over 400,000 of extra cash that is directly in his pocket. $20 is $400,000 in revenue in this business, because you've already paid your taxes, your insurance, your maintenance. You've already paid your employees. There's no extra cost other than just asking for it. It's one of the reasons I like hotels is you're raising your rents daily or lowering them based on demand, supply and demand. So if you understand revenue management, which is a big part of the business, you can make out like a bandit. So when Brett was saying we created a new impasse, we're like, well, we're not buying this, right? We're just not going to play here at these numbers. And we understood exactly what the seller wanted, needed. And and basically said, we're basically going to leave. We're done. And then the agent was chasing us, which is exactly what we want to do, because as we're driving there, what I was trying to communicate earlier, not the Cheeto fingers, is I knew the debt was almost where they were at on, I think they had $1 million in debt ish.
A little bit more, yeah.
Right. 1.1, whatever the number is. And the net number to the seller was around 360. So I knew that if we gave the seller some cash and took over the debt, and what's the interest rate on that debt?
4.92.
4.92%. Now, can any of us, no matter how good your credit is right now, get a 4.92% loan on a property with zero money down?
Not just any property, a hotel.
It's a hotel, which is a lot harder.
Yeah, with no money down. I did say with no money down at all.
Yeah, with no money down, it's not happening.
And how long has that loan been in place?
Since 2018, so 4 years.
Gotcha. And it's a 10-year amortization?
10-year am, yeah.
All right. So that property's paid off in 6. He's in the second trimester of a mortgage. If you understand mortgages, the first third, all interest. Second third, 50-50. Last third, all principal. So he's 40% in on this mortgage, which chews down very quickly at a very low interest rate. So the seller has already done the heavy hitting. So we offered to help the seller in his time of need. Again, we're helping the seller. The seller isn't doing us a favor. We're doing them a favor.
Well, I think the important piece is, and I was nervous about going back at such a steep ask, a significant haircut in the offer price. But what happened when we did that is that it was so much lower that it caused the seller to start to talk about why it wouldn't work. And then that gave us a lot of information to put together something that would work, right? If we would have went back with a little discount because we were scared or nervous, and I was nervous the first time I bought anything of this size. But if I wouldn't have followed the process and wouldn't have listened, we would not have created that significant real impasse to then learn what the seller really needed, which was about paying off a relative and this, that, and the other. He wouldn't have felt compelled to talk about those things because emotionally he wouldn't have went to the same place he went to because we asked for so much money off. That was a word salad, but it's really important.
and the seller had FOMO, which again comes back to the element of the impasse, which is so very important, right? Many of you want to get to a yes, and even in your business, Brett, you do a lot of wholesaling in Tampa, and chose to go into this direction because you want a passive recurring income versus just this one time hit where you eat what you kill, but you have to kill again in order to eat, which is work. That's a job at the end of the day. Even though it's well paid and it's giving you a good lifestyle, it's still a lot of work. So step into this debt, this situation. So what is with the mortgages that are there? We're not talking about gap lending now because we had to rely on gap lending in order to get this deal closed. And I haven't had the opportunity to tell Brett the shit show on this. I actually had a lender that was going to lend the whole thing and got served divorce papers the day that we were going to get this done. So I didn't tell Brett that because he'd shit bricks because, not fair to him. But we piecemealed it together at the 11th hour, got it done. And without the gap lender, what's the net after debt service? Meaning you have the net of 140 and change. Then you have the debt service, right? So before the gap, what does that look like?
So the net is 246. And so before the gap lender, it's about $11,000 a month.
Yeah. All right. 132. Not a bad day at the office. So first deal, 132 so far, right? And again, there's an upside. That upside is extremely important. Yes, the pool needs to be fixed. What's the cost of doing the pool? This is a indoor pool with no other hotels that are in this class that have a pool, to allowing you to actually raise rates higher than your competition because you have something they don't have. What's the cost of that?
Looks like it's going to be about $10,000 to do the pool. And we knew that we knew it was going to be about 10. The piece we didn't know was the case goods in the room. That was the part they sort of left out of the conversation.
All good. So what's the amount total to get this thing best in class, to command the more than $20 to basically crush the competition? All in.
Yeah, it's going to take about 100.
All right. So there's 100,000. And did you get the 100 at closing?
Yes.
What did you get at closing?
160.
All right. 160 at closing. So you got paid to buy it. I'll say this again. You got paid to buy it. They'll put 100,000 of that money into the property, which will get them 400,000 a year net. That 100,000 makes 400,000. What's that ROI, guys?
Well, let me correct that.
Oh, forgive me. Just kidding.
So the property, if it doesn't get any better, it's 246 in net. If we go get the RevPAR gap, that number is actually an additional 481,000. But if we just call it 400, the net is that additional 400 plus the existing 246.
So you're making me do math. So that's about 650,000 net a year.
Yes.
Okay.
And you still got a minus debt service from that, though.
Yes.
No, we've already minus debt service.
246.
It's actually 100. And,
so one plus the 4.
132.
So he's $500,000 anyways in, even if it's 140 plus the 400.
This is a
upside.
terrible deal. You're only making $500,000 a year, and you got paid to buy it.
Yes.
So
That's awesome.
did you qualify for the loan?
No.
Did they ask you for financials?
No.
We talked to the bank, and by the end of the conversation, and this is documented on Center Call, guys. If you go back a couple, I don't remember the date that it was aired, but these are our Tuesday calls. They basically at the end of the call said, "You're a great buyer, no problem." Now there's another deal that you're working on with the same fucking bank, same bank. So it gets really, really interesting, right? So I'm really proud of Brett for pulling this off, but he's a very good student in that he doesn't get frustrated. He does it wrong. He takes it, and he's learned to take the mistakes and turn them into wins. And the beauty of making mistakes is that's the worst it's ever going to be. And if you pivot quickly from that mistake and not internalize it, you're going to go really far, really fast. Really,
so Marco,
far, really
here's the thing. I added this up the other day. I guess I was bored. I've done about 260 real estate transactions in the Tampa area. And of those 260 wholesale, sometimes I buy them and sell them, whatever. I've not created $1 of recurring income in my life. Not $1. And then I did one deal following your process and created a significant amount of recurring revenue that's only going to get bigger because the process keeps going. Like the process doesn't stop. So the process of putting the right management in place and the process of putting the right plan in place and the process of, all these things, you get pretty tired doing 200 plus deals and not creating any recurring income.
I can tell by
for me, it's very significant.
It's in your face and in your beard how tired you are. Yes.
Exactly.
But it's, that's really cool. And the reason Brett's here, A, is to inspire you a little bit, but B is what he did is exactly what's coming for those that are prepared. Exactly what's coming. Debt takeover quickly. Once we got to the solution, it was fairly fast from there. The seller put the brakes on, and I couldn't believe it when he said, hey, we got to, and I don't want to repeat myself here for those that have heard this before. When the seller says, I got to talk to the bank to make sure that they bless this because I buy a lot of assets through this bank, we lost our minds. And I basically said to Brett, the deal's dead. I bet myself, I lost $1,000 to myself. So my right pocket lost $1,000 to my left pocket, that this would actually go through. Never in my life have I seen that happen, which is another indicator of what's about to happen. And that's a relationship with the bank that we can actually keep in our pocket, because if they're lending on this deal plus another deal he's working on, when there's a default, they're going to Brett because they already know that's what we do, or they will know that's what we do. And they're going to know that's what we do. And we're going to just drip on them constantly. Hey, we want these. And then you can come into the back end on a relationship you already have. Very, very powerful stuff. Very, very exciting. Don't need money, don't need credit, just need knowledge and application, and no whining or bitching. Just follow process.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. And putting in, so you basically bought a property for nothing, with no money down.
No, he got paid to buy it.
Well, he got paid to that, which is even good. Well, he's going to reinvest
$160,000 to buy it.
So he's going to invest that $100,000 just so he can obviously increase his ADR and be above or near the competitive set, which is fantastic. It's if it's the only property that has something distinctive, like a pool, indoor pool, which could be used year round, you definitely have an advantage on your comp set. So kudos to you for putting that together. And yeah, I'm sure you hit a lot of roadblocks getting there. It wasn't just a phone call picking up, and I'm sure there was conversations, emails going through. You flew out there only once you had the contract, that is, and you dug a little bit more. You weren't afraid. And the thing is, what you said, Brett, that you weren't afraid to leave, and you made the trip out there. Well, maybe he was. Okay, maybe he was internally, but you still went through the motions. That's the whole thing. And instead of trying to make the deal work, knowing what you knew, you were prepared to leave with Marco, that is, with Marco's assistance. And that created that FOMO on the seller's part. And that's why you got a fantastic deal. So that's great. I want to see more of this because these subject to and these wraps. And now you actually made that relationship with that bank, with that financial institution. So who knows, buddy? I think it's going to rain some more properties on you.
Well, and what's interesting is I was admittedly nervous about the steps, but I've only had like 3 experiences in my life professionally, maybe even just 2, where someone was willing to like teach me a skill that had some market value to it, not just like give me advice or whatever, but an actual skill. Like the person that taught me how to do big like enterprise level selling. Like that was a moment in my life where somebody was willing to teach me something. Somebody taught me how to really run a wholesaling business the right way and treat people the right way. And then now this is probably the 3rd time professionally where someone was willing to forget about the money. Obviously, we've all paid to be here, but somebody willing to take their time and put up with me and show me how to do something. That's the part that I wasn't nervous about that part. It was, that part was actually very reassuring. And now I can take the few things I learned on this deal and apply it to the next one. And I know there's going to be new things, Frank, you've been doing this for a long time. There's new things for you too. And every time you do something, right? But I'm very, very appreciative, Marco, and I've never said this to you, I don't think, that you would share a skill and then have the caring to actually make sure that the skill is being implemented correctly.
I
It's pretty
appreciate
cool.
that. Well, it gives me purpose. And I need all of you as much as you need me. It really is a symbiotic relationship. I go bananas when I do nothing for a while, and I really love seeing success. And as you know, if you've been following me for any period of time, I don't like, I can't control what all of you do and what's going on in your lives, because shit happens. But I know that if you do what I tell you to do, it's going to be great, as evidenced by Brett. Just from I know you did the math and you have no recurring income, but Brett, just one last question for you. How much per hour, considering the hours that you've put into this business now and the returns that, let's say by the end of a full year, so I want to use just 1 year of passive income on just 1 year for the hours that it took to get to this point and the amount that you're being paid on a passive income level without the increase.
What's the dollar per hour?
Yeah. I know you and math are not necessarily always super good friends, but
it's about,
you put in 8 months, approximately how many hours a day ish?
an hour and a half to 2.
So let's call it 7 days a week or 6 days a week, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
All right. So that's 20 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 4 weeks.
That's
10
hours. 10 hours a week.
The guy that's beating me up about math.
That's 40 times 8. What's 40 times 8?
320.
Hey, I never said I was perfect. I'm good at 7 things. Remember that.
320.
All right. What's 132,000 divided by 320?
$412
an hour. Now, if you increase the value, that's not if you're increasing the revenue, right? Now, next year,
just 1 year.
Yeah. So that's 1 year. Now, next year, he's not doing the work. So now his hourly wage just doubled to 600. The next year, it's now at 900. You see where this is going, right? So the money that you put in, the time that you invest now is consistently paying you for the rest of his life, his kids' lives, and so on and so forth. And
here's where it really gets powerful. And I sat down and did this the other day is if I could duplicate this success 1 time per year for the next 5-6 years, when you look at cash flow plus refining and those sorts of things, this is why I'm so grateful for the skill that I was taught, because nothing will pay me like that. I don't have that kind of education, brain surgery or whatever pays that kind of money. This is the only thing I can do to create that kind of income.
You're going to buy a cruise ship.
Think about the people you pay way less than $400 an hour to do work for you, like a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. And think about all the time they went to school, and they act like professionals for the most part. And so if you're going to get paid like them, you gotta be
put
serious.
in the time. Yeah. You got to put in the time. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted you guys to know about the, what's coming. I wanted you guys to be prepared. I would not sleep well knowing what I know and knowing the opportunity that's coming and knowing that it just takes a little piece of knowledge to make a shit ton of money once applied. Because I know if you do nothing, nothing's going to happen. But we always tend to make promises to other people that we keep much more to ourselves. And even with, Frank, Gabe, and myself, we're always holding each other accountable. So, I went to bed very, very late last night. I knew I had a podcast to do this morning. I would not have gotten up had Frank not been waiting on me. Yeah, I was a little bit late. Sorry, Frank. It's about 10 minutes late, but I showed up because I made a promise to be there. So, and in any environment, having accountability is extremely important. And I want that for you, because I don't want to speak out, for Brett, but there's no way on God's green earth in 10 years of him trial and error, he would have gotten the kind of deal that he has now. I don't see it, because of the small nuances and the things that you don't want to say and the things that you think you should say, or just say in the middle of a conversation when you're not asked to do that. Just start talking with no, with no direction or understanding. It can really kill a deal very quickly. So understanding that tightrope walk is extremely important. And I really want to help you. I really do. I've already done it, and I really have a lot of joy in seeing others succeed. I really do. And if it's not painful to enter, you won't take it seriously. That's just the reality of how things work. If you don't pay, you will not pay attention at the same level. Level of success to people that pay $1,500 for something and those that pay $200,000 for something is not at all the same kind of result, evidenced by Brett. So here we go. That's all I got to say about that.